third. Will he be moonwalking into the end zone, Matt?
You know what? He's going to have to if they're going to have any chance against Indiana today. He has an interesting case because he was at USC for 3 years. He was at Georgia for a year, and this is his final year at Purdue. Right now, he is leading the Boilermakers in receiving yards and needs to have a big day today.
Has seen a lot of big games in his career. This is another one in the rivalry. Joshua, give some love to the tackles leader in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, that's Manny Powell. He's a UNLV guy that came over with Barry Odom, and he wanted to establish a culture and a standard. And you can see it in his game. He's gotten better every single week. You mentioned the lead in tackles. He's got 11 TFLs. If they're going to have success against Indiana, he's got to create the negative plays.
We've talked about the Indiana offense so much. I don't think we've probably given proper love to the defense and Aiden Fisher.
I certainly haven't. Haven't talked a lot about him this year. It's because everybody knows how good he is. He's the heartbeat. He's the quarterback on that defense there. We used to do this thing in the practice, in the film room. You would stop the film and see who's in frame. He's in frame every time.
Get out your leather helmet, take off the face mask, get ready for the Old Oaken Bucket game. Up for grabs, Indiana, Purdue, a Big Ten title game on the line, a spot in that for Indiana. Paul Burmeister, Yogi Roth, and Zora Stevenson from West Lafayette coming up next. The number 2 team in the...
Thank you for being with us. Paul Burmeister alongside Yogi Roth and Zora Stevenson with us on the sideline. There is a lot of brand new in the Big Ten these days, but there's plenty of room for some old school tradition. Purdue and Indiana have been playing since all the way back in the 1800s. The history and the hatred is felt on both sides.
It is real. We were just on the field moments ago, and you could feel Purdue sensing tonight might be a magical night. They're going to leave it all on the grass. I'm talking trick plays, special teams, you name it. They are trying to shock the world.
Indiana, unbeaten, second ranked. They know this. A win will get them into the Big Ten title game next weekend and likely, possibly, get their quarterback a step closer to the Heisman Trophy.
Fernando Mendoza. Heisman Doza is probably what you know him as now. He's the front runner, and 3 things really stand out when you watch this quarterback on film. Number 1, he's a proven winner, especially on the road, back against the wall. Iowa, Oregon, Penn State, he showed up. Number 2, he's surgical as a passer, not hitting spots, but just being so precise. And then finally, this young man, when you watch him play above the shoulders, man, he looks like a pro prospect. He's got all the tools, Paul, and this team's fired up.
Hoosiers looking to secure a perfect regular season.
Win. So both quarterbacks, we talked to them both in pregame, they feel good about spinning the rock tonight, and they got to move the ball for Purdue and Coach Odom.
Head coach Barry Odom in his first season as the head man here in West Lafayette. Talked to him this week. He said he's encouraged. Still sees good habits in practice, good hunger in practice. Wants him to taste that ultimate reward, though, victory. Last chance tonight. Michael Jackson, the third. Brings it out to the 27-yard line. At quarterback for the Boilermakers, sophomore Ryan Brown. Interesting story. He played a little bit in this game last year. Immediately after, he transferred to North Carolina. When they got done with spring practice, came back here to Purdue, won the job, and also was named captain.
And a huge reason why he came back is because he talked to his friends, his buddies who were still on the team, and they talked about what Coach Odom was cultivating. He said, I want to be a part of that thing. It hasn't been perfect. It's been up and down, but he is a dynamic playmaker once he gets out of the pocket.
His tailback is Antonio Harris. Fake to him, little flip to the left. Nice catch. And out to the 27-yard line. And the Purdue offense, this is what they have around Ryan Brown.
Well, they need to run the football a little bit tonight. Antonio Harris will be that back. But Michael Jackson, the man who returned the opening kickoff, he's their most dynamic player. You see offensive coordinator Josh Henson. They want to feed him the rock. And then this offensive front, they've got to communicate. Braden Joyner, the center, it is on him against a very aggressive defensive front.
2 consecutive passes. In trouble. And Brown lets it go. Hoosiers there, intercepted. Picked off by Amari Farrell, his 4th of the season. Indiana #1 in the nation in turnover Now plus 16.
Paul, he wants to throw right here first. You'll see Ryan Brown look to his left, but no, there's nothing doing there. There's a linebacker drops right into coverage, so he rolls out to his right. He's got scrambling ability, trying to make a play, but baited by Farrell into the interception. It's almost like he knew he was going to throw it. What a play, right foot down before the left foot gets out of bounds. And this defense makes a statement on the opening drive.
Yeah, plus 16 turnover margin, best in the nation. Got one on the second play, so here comes the offense that scored the most points in the Big Ten so far, averaging 43 points per game. From the Purdue 47, Hemby met at the line of scrimmage. Alex Sanford, linebacker blitz. Fernando Mendoza, Yogi, lots of ways to describe him right away. Let's start here. His team hasn't lost. No quarterback in the nation has thrown more touchdown passes.
Yeah, he's been absolutely dominant, and he's got a ton of resolve to him. But you look at those 5 interceptions, Paul, 4 of the 5 have been on the road. The last 2 times out, this offense hasn't run the ball well, so they want to establish the line of scrimmage because they know if they have to throw it, Mendoza can do it as well as anybody in the nation.
They join Michigan and Oregon, only teams in the Big Ten averaging over 200 yards rushing a game. First pass, more blitz, quickly to the sideline, knocked down. Tony Grimes bats that away from Surratt.
Every snap thus far, Purdue's shown one look and then changed it at the snap. Kurt Cignetti probably writing that down. And Tony Grimes should have had a pick right here. Man-to-man against Surratt, back starting and healthy, and that's the top corner for Purdue.
Hoosiers #1 in the nation in third down conversion at 57%. They need 10 here. Mendoza lets it go far side, knocked away. Hadori Hines got a hand on that. 4th and 10.
How about the energy to kick the party off here? Hadori Hines, beautiful job in coverage. Almost as an interception. You see him out at corner, or that's a safety drop into the deep half. Smiley Bradford. Bradford's about to make a potential pick, and Hines knocks the ball away. This is secondary, is probably a strength in terms of athleticism for Purdue.
Hey, what a win for the Boilermaker defense right off the bat. Mitch McCarthy easily gets it away. Michael Jackson III lets it bounce, and inside the 5. The offense didn't get it done, but the special teams are offense. And now Ryan Brown has a long way to go, set up on his own 4-yard line. Keeping an eye on him because he's coming off his worst game of the season. He was 1 for 6 at Washington with 1 pick. Threw a pick on the first drive. Let's see how he responds. Gonna lean on the running game. They get out across the 5, out to the 8-yard line. Good start. Indiana defense, Yogi, really all conference players at all 3 levels.
Yeah, this is the most disruptive defense in America, and Stephen Daly at the defensive end spot is a huge reason why. Their bye week is also going to allow Mikhail Kamara to be at potentially full strength. He's been banged up throughout the season. And this back end, you saw Farrell already make a play. They love D'Angelo Pons, one of the top corners in the country.
Antonio Harris behind, up against this defense. Top 5 in the nation, points, yards, and rushing yards. And in the backfield right away, making that play. You called it out, Stephen Daly.
Yeah, he is so gifted. He creates havoc every time you watch him play. And this is one of the more dynamic players in this league. Watch him, he's just not really going to get blocked either. He understands what's coming. He follows the puller and just makes a play. And that's just the experience that this defense has. And bottom line for the front, their only job, Paul, is to find ways into the backfield, let these linebackers clean it up.
14.5 tackles for loss. That's best in the Big Ten. They loved watching him at Kent State last year, and he's been a terrific addition on that front 4. 3rd down from his own end zone. Steps up. Still looking. Got a man. Michael Jackson moves the chains.
Well, this is exactly what Indiana does. It's called a simulated pressure, meaning it looks like it's going to be blitz. It looks like more than 4 defensive linemen will come, but that's not the case. It looks like we're going to get a blitz. We're going to get a blitz, but watch as the play develops. Who ends up coming? Only 4 defensive players. So for Ryan Brown, he's got to understand that. The offensive line has to communicate. He showcases his athleticism again, this time a completion for a conversion.
You talked about him during the week, and you mentioned backyard football. We certainly saw that there. A little end around. Hoosiers ready for it. Stephen Daly, Wheeler, his mate there on the front. They bring down E.J. Horton.
Again, the only goal of this front is to make penetration. Watch as the snap unfolds. He's unblocked again, and the back does not even get much contact. Antonio Harris, you got to just continue to drive your legs there. And it's read the entire time from Daly. He's an all-conference player. He's having an all-conference night tonight.
We asked Kurt Cignetti, why does your team always have so many tackles for loss? He said, we do a lot of things, and we do them all well. Back to pass, sideline shot, and nowhere near E.J. Horton. Proverbial quarterback and receiver not on the same page.
Now trying to go for a little back shoulder, and Horton thinking he's going to take the top off the defense. And right now, this is what Indiana loves to do. 3rd and forever. They're going to look like they're bringing some heat. Probably will bring an extra defender to force Ryan Brown to get the ball out of his hand.
They show a lot of different looks before the snap, make it tough for the quarterback to know what they're in.
Yeah, and number 4, Aiden Fisher, he's the catalyst behind it all. You'll see him in the middle of the screen. Right there.
Need a big chunk. Try to get it on the ground. Not even close. Devin Boykin, the first one there. And here comes the punt team.
It's one of the top defenses in the country. And if you hurt yourself, if there's some negative plays, they went for a trick play at a big loss. And again, it's not just the defensive line. It's players coming from depth. That's the slot defender, Boykin. He's done a heck of a job all season.
Seth Turner from his own 5. Jonathan Brady. Not going to get a chance. Bounces way back to the 40-yard line. Ford, ready, set, forward. Beautiful look there inside of Ross-Ade Stadium. We're about to see Fernando Mendoza and the Hoosier offense for the 2nd time. And he has been outstanding at home. You look at the numbers, though, on the road, Yogan, not quite as good.
Yeah, it stands out. He's almost thrown 2 interceptions already tonight, and it's still young, right? We're not even through the first quarter here. But he's been around a long time. He's got the ability to settle himself. He told us earlier this week he spends a ton of time with a sports psychologist to just take a breath, connect to the present moment. I'm sure he did that on the sideline. We'll see how he responds here if they can get a couple early completions.
Spent a lot of time during the bye week last week getting to know the Boilermaker D. Said he started watching him on Wednesday. Called him a mix of quirky and aggressive. 2nd possession here. Starts out with a ground game, and quickly up the middle goes Kalon Black, one of the 2 backs they use a lot, along with Roman Himby. And let's meet the Indiana offense, the highest scoring in program history.
Yeah, well, they got 2 of the best receivers in America, and Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt. Surratt back. Both of those 2 wideouts were semifinalists for the Bolitnikoff Award. They can take the top off. They can move the chains. And then Carter Smith. He's in his 37th straight start. He's a baller at the left tackle position. A lot of NFL people here tonight to see Fernando, also to watch Carter Smith.
Mendoza 0 for 2 right now, held it for a while, and that's a bullet to Surratt. That's what he does best, the sideline job. Big gain there.
Well, what he's done best since he's been under Kurt Cignetti is the back shoulder throw. And this is all anticipation. One pump, resets his feet, and then look at that throw. You can't defend it. I mean, it's covered well, but you just can't make a play on the ball.
Right back on the ball before the blitz got him. Delivers to the sideline again. This time it's his back, Kalon Black, to get 6.
And we talked about it in the open. The functional football intelligence, him above the shoulders. He's going to see a lot of pressure tonight. And can he beat the pressure with his throw? Can he beat the blitz with his throw? Just got hit as he released it, but it was a nice job getting the ball out. A free rusher there, and this offensive line, they don't have their day 1 starters in there. At left guard, it's Ajani.
Black quickly through a hole, and near the end zone, the acceleration stood out there to the 1. He got 10.
Omar Cooper should get 10 for this. Watch this block right here from this wide receiver. They don't just make plays in the pass game. Boom, right on the safety. Are you kidding me? I mean, that is as good as you'll find.
Right back on the ball, 1st and goal. Give it to Black again, and he punches it in. Touchdown, Indiana. Well, they had a short field and a good mix of the run and the pass.
Yeah, and this offensive line did a nice job. And that's tight end 37. Riley Nowakowski does a little bit of everything. Forces the defensive line to hesitate just enough for Black to find the end zone.
Nico Radicic has been one of the stars here for the Hoosiers. Hasn't missed so far this season. Well, they were 3 and out on their first drive, but they got the short field again, and they knew just what to do with it. Mendoza didn't miss. Scampers out across the right side to the 26-yard line. At some point here, Yogi, we're going to see the 2-quarterback system. We've been watching Ryan Brown quarterback this team, but Malachi Singleton, he's been playing all season. We were told that it's not going to be, okay, he'll get a series every now and then. He could come in at any point of any drive.
Yeah, he's been a situational quarterback up until their last game against Washington, where he took the majority of the snaps in the ball game. They want to get Ryan Brown going. They haven't necessarily been able to do it, but you're right. We will see Singleton, especially in the run game. He's 235 pounds. Since Devin Mockabee was lost for the season, he's been their most impactful back.
3 wideouts to the left of Brown, looking over the middle. And thought he had the easy completion, but incomplete to Michael Jackson to bring up 2nd down 10.
You know, also what you're seeing with Purdue is something that we haven't seen all season long, and that's a drop that you rarely see, especially from Jackson. But you're seeing them huddle right now. This is not anything that Purdue has done all season. They're doing it for a few reasons. One, they want to hide their formations and their tendencies. Also, you can slow the game down a little bit against a very aggressive defense.
Empty backfield once again. 3 wideouts to his left. Bouncing over the middle. High and behind. 2nd miss in a row. Wanted Corey Smith that time to bring up 3rd and 10.
Keep an eye right here on Mikhail Kamara. Watch as this play unfolds, how hard it is to play quarterback. Looks like he's going one way, comes back. Nice job by the center there, picking it up. And they just missed the throw. But that's this defense. So much is coming at you so fast, Paul, as a quarterback. You don't even have time to really assess the back end. You're just trying to survive the front. And this back end, they play with tremendous instincts. It's why they have so many turnovers.
Actually had decent, nice little pocket that time to slide up into. 3rd and 10. Blitz coming. They set up the screen. Nothing. Indiana had that one sniffed out. Linebacker Isaiah Jones was all over Thomas.
And it's such an experienced outfit. It's like they've seen everything. They call him Bones Jones. That's his nickname. Watch him on this play. He reads it the entire time. It's like he knows it's coming. A little angle route from the back. He runs the route for Malachi Thomas. Lucky that ricochet didn't turn into another turnover.
McAllister back to punt. Hoosiers did not try to block that one. Shanked it off the side of his foot. Does take a Purdue bounce. Game storylines brought to you by Walmart. Okay, we're getting close to Heisman time. Good to have a running back worked in there. Jeremiah Love has been electric for the Fighting Irishman. A really fun watch. But at some point you get to the quarterbacks. Julian Sayin, I know he's got a lot of talent around him, but he's been excellent in his first campaign for the Buckeyes. Many people believe the best campaign so far has been run by Fernando Mendoza. He is, right now, the favorite to win.
Yeah, he is. And you just kind of love it. Everybody has their own campaign. How about Fernando Mendoza? Just on brand of like coming out on LinkedIn, right? This is a young man who is known for his mind, how he thinks, how he communicates, how he processes at the quarterback position. He's got a little, future in politics potentially. He's got that tone at times, but what an amazing young man. And for him, think about it, he was going to the Ivy League. He was on his way to Yale.
The kick ended at the 30-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 30.
Okay, well, there's the see the penalty getting assessed, but there's Heisman Mendoza. It was great. The LinkedIn page just spot on, and I think we've been around this enough to watch so many Heisman campaigns. It's just got to be somewhat similar to the personality, and it's exactly on point. And to the point of winning games and being backed up, and you're back against the wall. He's done that. Sayin has yet to do it. Hasn't been in that environment just yet.
First and 10 from the 30. On the move this time, floats it. Oh, he had an open man. Omar Cooper had to slide and couldn't grab it.
Fernando Mendoza, one of the most accurate passers in the country, rarely misses a chance for a big explosive play down the sideline and just underthrew it.
You mentioned that he was on his way to Yale, grew up in Miami and didn't have any Power 4 offers. He said in the bye week, watched a lot of football, and he sat at home and there's Harvard, Yale, and he said, I was supposed to be there.
Yeah. Oh, his path was amazing. Remember him back at Cal, he was 5th string, just kind of continued to work, continued to chop wood, and now look at him. He's achieving and actualizing a dream.
Himby, not a lot up the middle, brings up a 3rd down. Be 3rd down and 8.
And 3rd down is really where Mike Shear, the defensive coordinator for Purdue, is going to get creative. He's going to show one look, and Coach Cignetti, he knows it, and then late it's going to change. This will all be post-snap for Fernando Mendoza.
Mendoza starting out 2 out of 5 tonight. 0 for 1 on 3rd down, and again, this is the #1 3rd down team in the nation. They need 8 this time. Purdue rushes 4. Mendoza, plenty of time, throws, misses. Couldn't find anybody he likes. Charlie Becker was nearest. Mendoza picks himself up off the ground. Punt team comes on.
Yeah, this is really impressive. Watch Charles Correa. He's the linebacker. Looks like he's going to come, but he's not. He's going to run out to the flats, and then it's going to allow pressure to come. Twists up front, and look at the effort by this defensive line. They almost get a hand on Mendoza and just misses on the throw. The pressure from this defense is going to be in his face all night long. They're going to lose. They're going to lose in that manner.
Hey, Mendoza's over 70% for the season. It's early, but right now he's 2 out of 6. Michael Jackson from the 20. Good initial burst got him up to the 28-yard line. Indiana has 7, but the Purdue defense is hanging in there. Back to Westlaw some way. Shirtless. They got to be cold.
Yeah,
right?
Well, it's a mindset, as you know.
Hey, Fernando Mendoza, they've had 3 drives. They expect to score in all their drives. They've only done it once, and they had a short field. And let's see if the Purdue offense now can stand up to what their defense has been doing. Quick pitch to the left side. And that's a good start. Antonio Harris around the left end for 7.
Well, the best part of football games is adjustments. Watch these offensive linemen. They're going to go that way. We saw the first few drives. They would run that way. They say, no, let's run the other way. Let's pitch it to Antonio Harris. And they finally get a positive run tonight.
Yeah, they had negative rushing yardage prior to that. And thinking about negative, Ryan Brown has missed on his last 4 passes. And we have not seen Malachi Singleton, the quarterback that we expected to see early, go back and forth with Brown. Yet to make the field. Brown on 2nd and 3. Had a hard time with that exchange. And the 3rd tackle for loss for the Hoosiers. -5.
I mean, this is just a dominant defensive front. I mean, whether it's Kamara, I mean, you circle whomever you want. They're all making plays. They're all having a party in the backfield. Looks like blitz. They don't bring pressure. They just find their way into the backfield. Mario Landino, the first one to the party, and this Purdue offensive line is struggling right now.
And what does Indiana defensively like most, Yogi? 3rd and long. Need a chunk here. 3rd down and 8. Here comes the blitz. Brown gets rid of it. Middle shots. Got him. E.J. Horton came up with it. They gained 28.
Yeah, this is big time. How about this from Ryan Brown? He's been struggling thus far. He doesn't flinch. Look at the throw, back shoulder, the only spot he can make it. Big time conversion.
Purdue operating inside of Indiana territory for the first time. They swing it out wide. Michael Jackson, he's got another first. Well-designed play, good execution. Chains moving here.
Yeah, and Christian Earls is the reason why on this one. He's your tight end. Watch him make this play to free up Michael Jackson, who starts in the backfield like a running back. Find a way to get your playmakers the ball. They do. And look at this. Crowd is coming alive, and this offense for Purdue has come alive.
They're first of the half. 30-second timeout.
Timeout called, and you mentioned that they had been huddling up a lot, which is a real change of pace, and now just right back on it each time.
Well, they're trying to find a little bit of a rhythm, and they do that. And I think if I'm Josh Henson, the offensive coordinator for Purdue, I'm saying we cannot run the football between the tackles anymore. I mean, they just haven't been able to do it. That's just the bottom line. Not many people have against Indiana. So you see him attacking the perimeter, whether it's pulling his offensive lineman one way and running it the other, putting his top skill player in the backfield in Michael Jackson, getting him on the perimeter. That's what this is becoming, a little bit of a matchup game tonight in this rivalry.
He is by far their top receiver, and we're into basketball season. They're awfully good at hoops here. It's kind of like a basketball timeout called by Indiana. Hit a couple of buckets. Let's just slow this thing down a bit. See if we can throw them off.
That's right. And remember, this is an Indiana team not only coming off a bye, but they didn't practice like they normally did in a bye week because everybody's been beat up. Everybody was burnt out. They took a break. We're seeing some of that rust. It looks like it might be there right now, especially on the perimeter.
Last two plays got him 46 yards. Harris gets another inside the 20. Left side of the line doing work there. 7-yard gain.
You didn't think they were going to run between the tackles, but right there from Harris in the pistol, which means lined up directly behind the quarterback. It doesn't allow the linebackers to cheat at all. A little too aggressive, and the hole opens up. Hardy goes a little too much to his right, and a nice job cutting back by Harris.
Last two games, Purdue offense, they have not scored a touchdown. That's against Washington and Ohio State until the fourth quarter in the red zone now. Second down 4, little flip, and that was batted away at the last moment. And that was Elijah Hardy, their top tackling linebacker.
Yeah, and this is almost catastrophic. Oh, Landino almost gets his hand on it. Hardy is almost going 6 the other way. Whew. I'll tell you what, I wonder if this is 4-down territory. If you can get a yard and a half here, then you bring in Singleton in the quarterback run game in this rivalry. All things Barry Odom is talking about on the headset right now.
Converting third down, just 2 out of 4 today. This much more manageable. They need 4. Up the middle, and it cuts, and that's a first.
I'll tell you what, they get the first down, not just because of the run, but because of Ryan Brown on the handoff. It's a really nice job by him. He'll just step in front of 2 defensive linemen. Watch him play out the fake. He sprints up there. He slows down Kamara, which allows his back to get the first down.
And what did Barry Odom say during the week? He said, these guys practice well. They practice sharp. We just have to see it in the game. Certainly seeing it on this drive.
Should be man-to-man coverage.
1st and 10. Harris finds nothing that time.
Okay, so let's teach a little bit here. This red zone defense for Indiana is elite. They are the best in America. Right now, they're being challenged in the zone read game. So that means the edge defenders, the overhang linebackers, for Brian Haynes, the defensive coordinator, they have to make a decision. Is Ryan Brown going to keep it? Because he's athletic enough. When Purdue gets down in this area, he has often kept the ball around the edge by himself.
Barry Odom, first year here at Purdue, last 2 years as the head coach at UNLV. 2nd down 8, Brown on the move. Dumps it, and inside the 5. Yes, that was caught. Nitro Tuggle. His first touch gets him 7.
You reference basketball. Ryan Brown's like the true point guard right now. Is he going to keep it? Is he going to dish? Really nice job. I think it looked like a catch from up here. Yeah, left toe down before that right foot gets out of bounds.
Okay, you mentioned the last 3rd and short, Yoke, that you thought maybe it was 4-down territory. Now we've got Malachi Singleton in the game. Quarterback in for the first time, the change of pace quarterback.
The ruling on the previous play was a catch in bounds. The play's under further review.
I think they're going to probably look at, did he have control on the ball on the catch? The foot clearly in. The ball didn't move at all to me, so that looks like a catch.
Let's bring in Terry McCauley, our rules analyst tonight, to watch along with us. Terry, good evening. Good to have you with us. What do you see here?
Hey, Paul, Yogi. Yeah, this is clearly a catch. You guys were all over it. He gets control, foot down inbounds, has complete control throughout the whole process. This should be a very quick review.
Should be.
Yeah.
The key word, Terry.
Yeah, sometimes, that doesn't happen as often as we'd like.
What could they be looking at, Terry?
I don't know. I don't know. We had a perfect replay of it that was clear and obvious right off the bat. I'm not even sure why we've stopped it, but we'll see.
Well,
it is the left foot clearly down and the control.
And if that left foot heel went out of bounds, then we'd have a different conversation, right, Terry?
We would, but it obviously set up. It's a toe tap, and it is a catch.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. It's a catch, third down at the 5-yard line.
Okay, so it does stand, and Malachi Singleton, the change of pace quarterback, had come in before they took another look at that play, and we'll see if he comes out of the huddle here.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to.
Okay, and Brian Haynes, defensive coordinator, we asked him what was the most challenging part of this offense. He didn't hesitate. He said when the quarterback number 3 comes in, the run threat is tough for us.
And I would imagine right now, like, they've got a lot of variations. We got to go what's worked all season. This is some sort of quarterback lead.
His first snap. Hands off, and Harris got nothing up the middle. Aiden Fisher, their leader up front. Now it's decision time for Purdue.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to kick it. And I think if I'm playing quarterback from up here, I thought Singleton could have kept that one around the edge. He's 235 pounds. He's the biggest back. We've said it a few times now. And they're not going to go for it. I don't mind that, right? Can you put a little doubt into the Indiana sideline if you can find 3 here?
Spencer Porath has been awfully good at it this year. This from 22 yards out. He's made 14 out of 15 this season. And he's got Purdue on the board.
Let's take a look at that third down play again from Malachi Singleton. He's got the opportunity, I think, after he hands it off, to keep it around the edge. He's reading these edge defenders here. I thought Farrell crashed down quickly enough where Singleton could have been decisive and kept it, and then utilized his strength as a runner to get that first down. But you got to give Farrell the credit. He came in so fast, so violent. This is what this defense does. Again, it's the most disruptive defense in the nation. Ohio State might be the most dominant, but they have been disruptive. But for Barry Odom, that's a big win. And for Curt Cignetti, he's got to say, flush it, move on, because this Indiana team has not looked like the Indiana team we've seen all season.
Hey, Barry Odom celebrated a birthday on Wednesday. We talked to him, turned 49. We said, what do you got tonight? He said, dinner with the family, hope to be in bed by 10. So he's well rested, and I think he feels pretty good about this first quarter.
Yeah, he should. And look, this team has had moments in this season. They've had moments in Ann Arbor. They had moments here against Illinois. They just haven't been able to put it together. So you can't continue to give Indiana short fields. Can't turn it over, but right now they got hope.
Hope coming in the form of those 3 points. Number 2 team in the nation on top right now, 7-3. Inside the final minute here of this first quarter. That was well done by Roman Himby. Let that one go out of bounds.
Yeah, heads up play on special teams. Give the Hoosiers really good field position.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
And this defense for Purdue, we said they're going to give Fernando Mendoza a bunch of different looks. That's exactly what they've done from the jump. Whether it's bringing 5 and playing man coverage, bringing pressure from depth. This defensive line has been so active tonight. This back end, it looks like blitz, and all of a sudden it becomes coverage. It's been a challenge for Indiana. There's almost been multiple turnovers in the passing game. They missed a chance for a big shot down the sideline, but this offense has not looked as efficient as it traditionally has this season.
Start out this drive on the ground, a little bit of room off that right side. Kaylon Blackie has the touchdown tonight. Correa, the middle linebacker, keeps it to a gain of 4. We talked to the defensive coordinator for Purdue, Mike Shear, final seconds ticking off here, about his defense. How many times did he use the term aggressive when he talked about what they planned to do?
I think we stopped counting after about 75. I mean, that's who he is. That's who he's been at all his stops. He was trained by Barry Odom, played for Barry Odom at Missouri back in the day. And he told us on the field in pregame, we are cutting it loose tonight.
Mendoza just 2 out of 6 right now, trying to change that. Blitz coming, picked up, floats, almost intercepted. Smiley Bradford had a great shot at that one.
Tell you what, you don't say this often, but this was a win in the back end of this secondary. Watch as the play unfolds. Every member of the secondary gloves up these Indiana receivers on a chance for another turnover. Purdue's got to catch these. They got to make a play in a rivalry game. Easy opportunity for Bradford, and another potential costly decision from Mendoza.
Third down, normally a strength for the Hoosiers. They haven't converted one tonight. 3rd and 5, fake.
Oh, late to move. The ball is snapped now, and then he moves to play basically defensive end. And then the defensive back inserts himself to make the tackle. I mean, they are changing late, and that is very challenging to do. Purdue has done an exceptional job through the first quarter.
See if they lean on this running back tandem, Himby and Black. 11 seasons between them and 5,000 rushing yards in their career. They do so up the middle to Himby. See a little bit of that power there at the end. Still needs one more for the first. Brings up 3rd and short.
Yeah, and another example. Watch this defensive line on the snap. Watch all the movement up front. Twisting up front, and all of a sudden C.J. Madden's got an opportunity to make a play. Great job running through that arm tackle. But this is what this defense does. And I think this is 4-down territory for Indiana, meaning I think they'll go twice here if they don't get it.
They've gone back-to-back runs here, and Himby remains the back on 3rd and 1. Give it to him again. Got the first. Almost broke out of that tackle. New set of downs for the Hoosiers.
This is an offensive run game. The last 2 times out has struggled. It's a nice job in here just inserting himself into the run game. Himby's so strong, so physical. It's his 50th start of his career. He's been around so long. But Indiana's averaged 2.8 yards per rush in their 2 previous games. They know they got to get the run game moving.
Yeah, I mentioned they joined Michigan and Oregon, only teams averaging over 200, but they haven't come close to that in the last couple of games.
It's going to be a false start.
Couple of flags down. Hoosiers going to back it up.
False start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Kurt Cignetti thinking about how his offense can get this going. You see the penalty.
Yeah, just moves the ball just a little bit.
Pat Coogan, the center, started for Notre Dame last year. Little roll of the eyes for Fernando Mendoza. This 31st career start hasn't exactly started the way he planned it to. 1st and 15. This drive all about the ground game. Himby, space off the right side. Well, he got the edge and turned on the speed. Rael eventually pushed him out.
Watch Rael on this play. He starts all the way over here. You want to talk about a rivalry game, the old Oaken bucket. Watch him just chase and chase and chase. I mean, the strain is impressive. Both of these teams know how critical this drive is. And for Indiana, they are putting this drive in the hands of Roman Himby. Another impressive run.
Hey, why not? Only active player in the FBS, 3,000 rushing yards and also 1,000 receiving yards in his career. He gets a break, and they bring in Kaylon Black. First pass of this drive. Mendoza comes to the sideline, dumps it off. He avoided the negative play there. Picks up 6. And that's Charlie Becker with his first catch.
Yes, down here in the fringe red zone area, Indiana is just elite. And a huge part of that is because of number 15. I mean, above the shoulders, he just has an ability to be so discerning. Decision. That last play, it wasn't a big gain, but it could have been worse if he forced anything. He's just waiting for his opportunity here. And he's going to get man-to-man coverage against Charlie Becker at the bottom of the screen.
Black, left side, he's got some room. Kaylon Black almost busted that one out. Still a first down and a gain of 11.
Johnny at the left guard spot, number 72. Watch him just lead the way. Drew Evans probably not going to go tonight, available, but just in kind of an emergency opportunity. So they're getting to Johnny some more burn, just a redshirt freshman, and they've been close now. What, 3 runs now? They've almost broke for a score.
The staff knows Black so well. He was with them at JMU. His second season now as a Hoosier. That's Cooper in motion. Black down to the 7. Taj Rael, another stop, but that's a gain of 5.
Yeah, this offensive line and this drive, it's been a response. You talk to Kurt Cignetti, you look at his background. His dad was a Hall of Fame coach. His brother's an offensive coordinator. He's won everywhere he's been. We all Googled him. But they win because they can run the football, because they can win to the line of scrimmage. I don't think they did a ton of that in the first quarter. This drive has been all line of scrimmage.
7 runs, 3 pass. They almost have twice as much rushing yardage as passing in this game so far. Second and 5. Mendoza keeps, and Mendoza scores.
Riley Nowakowski, that man, watch him just escort his QB1, his Heisman candidate, into the end zone. Gets another block on the perimeter from Elijah Surratt. The wide receiver shows up right there. Surratt, watch the initial block, and then he's just going to follow his tight end. And this is a nice job of Mike Shannon, the offensive coordinator, saying, let's just get back to what we do well. We're a more talented team. Let's see if we can own the trenches. They did on that drive.
They loved Curtis Rourke here last year at quarterback, extra point up and in, but they say one of the differences this year is Mendoza is better with his legs. Saw it right there. Fernando Mendoza has a touchdown run to go along with Kaylon Black's touchdowns. Talked to Kurt Cignetti during the week, their head coach, about the excellent balance they have on offense. I said, which one do you do best? Said straight face. Sometimes it's the pass, sometimes it's the run, and so far tonight it's been about the ground game.
Yeah, well, that's how you kind of get back to center. You know, can you own the line of scrimmage? This team's been focused all week long. They also have a bigger goal out ahead of themselves.
Michael Jackson deep from his own 12. And gets out to the 27-yard line, and we go to the sideline and check in with Zora.
Paul, Indiana is trying to stay focused as everyone talks around them. Coach Cignetti said most of the questions at his press conference this week were about something beyond this game. He said it was evident that people think this is already done, and it's not. That's the trap. All the noise prompted Coach to talk to his team, something he doesn't normally do on Mondays. He told them, if you're on social media, if you listen to people, that is how you get your you-know-what beat.
We talked to him about that as well, Zora. He said what he has been stressing, respect your opponent, focus on the prep. That's what has worked for us in the past. Ryan Brown remains the quarterback. Looking, coming back across the middle and finds his back. Malachi Thomas, just enough for a first.
It's a great point by Zora. I think when you look at this game, right, Purdue, this is their Super Bowl for Coach Cignetti. He knows that they are relatively assured of a CFP berth. And this is a rivalry. They are focused, but they also have other things out in front of them. And you're watching that play out a little bit tonight, right? Indiana winning the line of scrimmage on the last drive. Purdue taking some chances defensively. We'll see how this drive moves after a first down.
Much different feel than the game we saw in Bloomington last year when the Hoosiers won 66-0. Thomas gets to the 40-yard line. D'Angelo Pons, the corner, was there, gain of 2. And at the bottom of that pile, that's Lewis Moore. Now he's up, leads the team in interception, also leads the team in tackles. It's amazing the credentials you come across. A lot of times I have maybe one for all the starters, like 4 or 5 for each one of these guys.
Well, to me, the most impressive element of this roster, especially among the starters, is there's so many veterans, so many upperclassmen. They've been there, they've done that. Last year was so Cinderella. This year's been mission-minded.
Purdue averaging just over 1 yard per run. They swing it out this time, and that's a great open field tackle. Amari Farrell, the safety.
They just play with such speed, and the havoc that's created is impressive. I mean, the gas is always down. Watch him at the top of the screen right there. Immediately reads the play, and then he just goes. And that's what this defense has done all season long. It starts with the defensive lineman, but when you're playing that way at linebacker and then in the back end, that's how you continue to create havoc and potential turnovers.
And that's how you set up a 3rd down and long. The team that sets the pace and tackles for loss in the Big Ten already has 4. And now the Boilermakers face 3rd and 12.
Well, they can't let Brown escape the pocket and make a play.
Brown, 4-man rush. It gets there, chases him to the right. Now back inside. Nice job of keeping this alive. Brown, short. Did a good job just to avoid the sack. And it's 4th and 12.
How about the athleticism of Ryan Brown? They say, okay, we're not going to let you rush outside, so they bring a little twist inside. He avoids that. Then him against the captain, Aiden Fisher. A couple spin moves later, he wins that. Just not enough arm and a chance down the field to make a play, but what effort from number 15.
He's now 7 out of 14. McAllister gets this one away. Jonathan Brady backed up. And a fair catch on his 18. Last time we saw Indiana with the ball, they had it going on the ground. Mendoza and company back after this.
And this history around this rivalry that you can feel the minute you get into town.
Let's see if they lean on Mendoza here a little bit to get going. He starts out this drive only 4 out of 9 for 36 yards. Oh, back to Hemby. That's working well. Up the left side and almost broke out down the sideline. Still a big gain of 18.
For the last drive, they ran it on 8 plays. You just had a feeling there was an opportunity for a big one. They're so close to breaking it. Nice job just on the perimeter. And again, Nowakowski, he's kind of that unsung hero on this offense. He does a really nice job. And Hemby, he's a vet. We referenced that earlier. His 50th start. Patient, go. And he is getting close to going the distance.
We just glossed over that, but how about that? 50 starts as a college running back. Mostly at Maryland and now here as a Hoosier. Drilled in the backfield that time. Purdue had seen enough of that. That's the Big Ten's leading tackler, Manny Powell, in a loss of 5.
Yeah, and this is his 48th game, so you got him by just a couple games. So watch Powell right here. His athleticism, his instinctiveness, and just gets past the veteran center and Pat Coogan. Really nice job and gives this defense and this crowd a little bit of life.
Hey, Purdue's the only team with 3 tacklers in the top 10 of the Big Ten. That guy we just saw, Manny Powell, Charles Correa, his sidekick at linebacker, and the safety Taj Rael. We've called his name a number of times already. 2nd down, 14, 5 receivers out, sideline shot. Becker fell down. He's looking for the flag, and he's not going to get it.
The one thing Indiana and Curt Cignetti has yet to do is complete a shot down the field. I mean, this is an offense that often does that. This is Becker. He runs, trying to just run a go route and just slips on the grass. And remember, E.J. Williams, he's out tonight. Traditionally the starter. Becker gets the nod.
And another 3rd down and long facing Curt Cignetti.
Keep an eye on a crossing route, especially from Nowakowski. He's in the slot at the bottom of the screen here.
Need to get to the 48-yard line here. Only a 3-man rush. They dump it out of the backfield. Black has a lot of work to do. Not going to get close. Tony Grimes, the corner. Solid tackle, kept it to a gain of 6.
Now this is a really nice job. Watch right here at the snap. Just immediately a sprint to the middle of this defense. That's Taj Rael, the man you referenced. Because of him sprinting all the way back, it says, oh, there's nothing deep. You got to check it down. Mendoza does. Huge win for this Purdue defense.
So, yes, Indiana has 14 points, but you mentioned win. A number of little wins here for Coach Shear and the Boiler D. Punt is away. Michael Jackson Fair catch on the 15-yard line. So we mentioned the old Oaken bucket. Lots of history. Came to be back in 1925. Alumni from both schools proposed the creation of a rivalry trophy that they thought typified the state of Indiana. They recommended an old Oaken bucket should be taken from a well somewhere in Indiana. You see, there were no points scored in 1925. Offense is not as developed as they were here tonight, but they found the right bucket on a farm in southern Indiana. They fixed it up. It has been the traveling trophy ever since. 0-0. Defense was strong.
Yeah, it was.
Back in 1925.
I got a feeling you know a little bit more about the old Oaken bucket.
Could be. Ryan Brown, 7 out of 14. He's got Antonio Harris. Harris has not much there. They had a tough time getting the ground game going. Stephen Daly, their best playmaker up front. Another tackle for loss of 1.
Yeah, this interior defensive front, it's just so disruptive, and it's just such a challenge when you're an offensive lineman. There's so much movement, slanting movement, and then Aiden Fisher, he's untouched. I mean, how many games did we watch together this week, Paul, where Aiden Fisher is untouched? And that's a huge part of the scheme. The defensive linemen are meant to go sideways at times to pull the eyes of the offensive linemen so these linebackers, notably Fisher, can make a play in the backfield.
Rush defense, top 5 in the nation. Purdue only has 10 yards on the ground so far. So they try the air. Sideline. One hand. Incomplete. Nitro Tuggle, good effort. And good coverage from D'Angelo Pons.
Yeah, and I like the no call there. A ton of contact late in the play. Just trying to get another back shoulder, but just a nice job of staying on top from Pons. He's so experienced. A lot of times you see PIs here, DBs out of control, not able to control their body. Pons, that's his elite trait to me, is his body control, especially when he's in phase down the field with the wide out.
They had one all Big Ten player in the defensive backfield last year, and it was that guy there, D'Angelo Pons. 3rd and 12 now for Purdue. Quickly dropped on the 10-yard line.
I mean, it's like they know the play sometimes. I mean, they're so explosive. Jamari Sharp, another veteran, and that's just the theme of this defense. They bring pressure from Fisher inside, and then here's Sharp at corner. Watch him just jump this thing. Nope, not going to block me as a wide receiver. Nothing doing there on the outside for Corey Smith, and he just makes a play.
Longest tenured Hoosier in the backfield is 4th year. They got close that time. Jonathan Brady, no chance at it. And Indiana's offense will set up shop. Excellent position inside the 40-yard line of Purdue. And with a 14...
I would imagine he's just going to hand the ball off. They got to continue to try to just get positive yards. They dominated the last drive, or 2 drives ago in the run game.
And there's a number here, a stat we didn't think we'd be reading. Mendoza's 5 out of 11 for only 42 yards so far.
And 3 interceptions are dropped.
Right to the air. Mendoza. Up the middle. Got lots of room. Already has a touchdown run tonight. Now gets him to the red zone with a gain of 19.
Yeah, how about this? This is the Walmart look from above, and this is awesome. Watch the pump from Mendoza. As the snap goes, he's going to pump to his left, and when he does it, the whole defense is going to jump that way. Right there, pumps, and then boom, look at him. It's like he knew what he was doing. This is a veteran player. His resolve's incredible. We've talked to him earlier this week. We've known him for years. His back against the wall, he hasn't flinched, even though he's only thrown for 40-some yards.
Kaelon Black, what a spin! Touchdown, Indiana! Two touchdowns for Black and a 20-3 Indiana lead. Nico Radicic has made every single extra point this year. He's 65 out of 65. Hoosiers lead 21-3.
Well, I'll tell you what, you sometimes have a welcome to college moment. That's exactly what happens here. This is a true freshman, Vanaz Cobb, getting the start tonight. against a true veteran over 50 games from Black, and that's just saying, hey, I've been down here before. Welcome to the rivalry. Touchdown on the ground, Indiana.
Hey, how sweet was that?
I mean, it just is. It's just an experience thing. And this IU team is so veteran-laden. Kyle makes the right read, the right fit. Just didn't anticipate the spin move. It's like you saw that coming. You did the Madden cast last night, man. You know the button.
Hit spin.
Yeah,
hit the right button. That little smile from Fernando Mendoza. He said, I started that drive with a 19-yard run.
That's right. And he's the ultimate team guy. And I think it's a big part of not only why he's a front runner for the Heisman, of course, is his play on the field, but who he is off the field and how he navigates challenging times. I highly doubt he's on the sideline saying, I've only thrown for 42 yards. Come on, guys, we got to spin it. He's saying, what does it take to win?
True freshman Vanaz Cobb goes home to St. Louis and sees his buddies. They ask him, what's it like to play DB in the Big Ten? Did you see that one play? That's what it's like. They say he plays fast, though, and fearless, and you'll see a lot of him here in the Big Ten. Michael Jackson just out across the 25.
Okay, so this is a big strategy drive for both teams. Remember, Indiana's going to get the ball coming out of the half, so don't be surprised to watch Curt Cignetti potentially use his timeouts if Purdue's able to get a first down here. Want to try to see if you can get the ball back, get 2 for 1, and for Purdue, you just want to get some positive momentum. Can you find some explosive plays, get points before the half?
First down line brought to you by T-Mobile, and Purdue is averaging less than 1 yard per carry right now. Not a real surprise, Indiana top 5 nation rush defense, but you just got to give the ball now to Ryan Brown and see what he can do.
Yeah, and you can't just bank on scramble plays. To me, you got to get the ball out. Go back in the perimeter game. They're going to take a timeout here. The play clock running down, but that's where they had success. Getting the ball outside, getting outside quick.
30-second timeout.
But not necessarily bubble screens. Quick out, something a little further down the field.
Offensive coordinator for Purdue is Josh Henson. Last 3 years as the offensive coordinator out west for USC. Offense has had slight improvement over last year, but still really deep in the bottom half of the FBS in most offensive categories. All that aside, they've got a couple of timeouts. Got a quarterback with real talent and experience. If they could find points here, halftime would feel a lot different.
Yeah, it really would. I mean, remember, they drove all the way down the field, didn't convert on a third down, took the points instead, and all of a sudden this place came alive in a way it hadn't since the beginning of the ball game. And they've had their opportunities defensively, but you got to come away with points here.
Ryan Brown doesn't have great stats, but as we've talked about him each day this week, Yogi, I could tell that you feel like he's got some game to him.
Yeah, he does. And look, this is a complete rebuild. I mean, let's just call it what it is. 82 new players, 54 via the transfer portal. They've been in games. They've competed like this every week, just haven't been able to put it all together.
Well, they do go to the ground game, and there's nothing there, Malachi Thomas. So you got a couple of timeouts. You come over and chat about it, and you just run right up the middle.
Well, I think right now for Indiana, you don't want to use them because your defense has just been so dominant. But you're trying, if you're Purdue, if you can just crease one. They brought in Christian Moore as a pseudo fullback there. Hadn't seen him earlier in the ball game. Now they go back to this pistol formation with the running back directly behind the quarterback. It is where they've had success.
Brown right now, 8 out of 16. Indiana brings 4. Over the middle, low offering. And a catch incomplete. We had one rule catch, one say no. Incomplete is the call to bring up third down.
Yeah, and again, this is a great call. Let's look at the catch. Saw it kind of hit the tip of the ball, hit the grass. Take another look here. Yeah, never had control. But for Ryan Brown, he goes through his progression, but he was kind of standing straight-legged. And when you do that, you know that as a quarterback, Paul, the ball dies on you. That's exactly what happened for him there.
You get thrown off a little bit with your rhythm and balance in there. Bottom line, 3rd and 10, and the clock stopped there. Brown, now they bring a blitz. In trouble, over the middle, nice play. Ryan Brown manipulates the pocket to find Nitro Tuggle.
Perfect word, Paul. Perfect word. Manipulating the pocket. Watch this pocket right here as the play develops. Brown just kind of playing in a phone booth, and he's got a lot of chaos. Up 1, understands the anticipation of his receiver, and he finds Tug.
Quickly on the ball, 5-man rush, lets it go. Little bit too high for E.J. Horton. 2:19 left, 2nd and 10.
Indiana saying, okay, we're not going to allow that to happen very often. You just feel the violent pressure coming off of the edge. I mean, it's just with such speed and unblocked. I mean, that's the problem with it. You call them simulated pressures, where it looks like 5 or 6 defenders were coming, but only 4 come. The challenge is you don't know where the 4th is. So the offensive line slides to their left. Well, you forgot that Mikhail Kamara was to your right, untouched in the face of Ryan Brown.
Confusion allows you to get pressure with only 4. Play action. Brown almost picked off, little bit behind Tuggle. And Lewis Moore almost had a pick.
But those are the plays you got to make. I mean, we're talking about 3 dropped interceptions, and that's, to me, we'll take another look here. Again, they bring a simulated pressure, only 4 come, looks like 5. It's hard, especially when your body's going one way. But can you open up that hip, and to get an upset, you just got to make some of those plays.
You were a receiver in college, like, you need 2 hands on that.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it's hard. You're going so fast. It's so chaotic, but that's just what Purdue needs. We'll see where they go here. I'd imagine they'll take another shot. Keep an eye on Jackson.
3rd and 10. Well, they go right up the middle, and they get to the 49. 2-minute timeout coming. Only a gain of 2.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Indiana thinking about getting that ball back, and they have a couple of timeouts. Have a quarterback named Fernando Mendoza who would love 1 more shot before halftime. Because he knows Indiana's number 2. He's always thinking back there in the studio. Punt away. See what kind of field position Indiana gets this time. And they'll start from the 23. Yogi, so far, the run game has been leading the way.
Yeah, only 24 yards on the ground in the first quarter, but this offense has gone for 103 in the second and 83 by these 2 running backs. They've been so close to breaking one, but they just keep finding first downs. In this offensive line, the tight end group, Nowakowski, they just continue to kick out defensive players. And when things aren't going great, especially on the road, you know the phrase, the run game travels. It has done that here in West Lafayette.
Go back to a question that I asked of Mike Shear, defensive coordinator for Purdue. I said, outside of Mendoza, who is the biggest difference maker for the Indiana offense? He didn't hesitate. He said, it's their offensive line.
Yeah, and they're down, you could argue, 2 starters. Drew Evans not going. See what happens at right tackle. Zen Mahalski gets the nod tonight. May see Khalil Benson here as well.
Mendoza 5 out of 11 on the move. Might have been past the line of scrimmage. Incomplete. Yeah, he was flirting with being across it right there.
Close.
No flag, so it's 2nd and 10.
Well, I like how they're getting him out of the pocket a little bit. You know, just try to just clean it up a little bit, because there's been a bunch of pressure. A nice answer there. Nice job by him understanding. Remember, the whole body has to be across, even your towel.
Almost like he saw the virtual reach.
Well, again, above the shoulders is where he thrives. Look no further than his LinkedIn page.
2nd and 10, and that's what's been working. Himby, stiff arm, and a race. Touchdown, Roman Himby. A 77-yard score to make it 27-3. Indiana now has over 200 yards rushing in the first half. All 4 touchdowns on the ground.
Well, the backs are getting the love on air, but we got to give it to the tight end and the wide receiver. How about Nowakowski, and how about right there, Charlie Becker? Watch their blocks as the play unfolds. First, the kick out, hands inside. Really nice job, not a hold. And then the perimeter blocking shown up all game. And then finally, these backs, a little stiff arm, And then it's just the wheels and experience of Roman Himby all the way to the house.
You mentioned experience. Himby and Black, 11 college seasons between them. 100 games, 5,000 yards. I mean, I could keep going.
Well, you just look at this game tonight, right? Like, it hasn't gone as probably the nation expected in terms of how it would be 28-3, but it still is. And this is what elite teams do, is they just lean on you. Curt Cignetti said he wanted it to be an exclamation point game. We thought it might be in the pass game with Fernando Mendoza in the first half. It's really been the second quarter in the run game in the offensive line.
They've been leading with the pass for a lot of this season, but what a counterpunch to have. What a 1A when you can lean on those two backs and that offensive line.
Well, look, if you want to make noise in the playoff, and Indiana learned it last year in South Bend, and even when they played Ohio State in the regular season, you've got to win the line of scrimmage.
Jackson hit at the 20 and fights his way out near the 25. Time now for a Wayfair game break. Here is Ahmed Fareed.
All right, thank you, Paul. Our first touchdown of the game between...
Has more touchdowns than their rivalry game. But they're one score.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
How about that look?
Yeah, it's 4th and 1 all the time with Coach Cignetti.
See how aggressive Purdue wants to be here now. A couple of timeouts. Down 28-3. They ought to be fairly aggressive, but to the ground. And that is another tackle for loss.
And I'd imagine Coach Cignetti, there you go. He's going to start using his timeouts.
Yeah.
And that's the right move. You know, number one, you got to play on your razor's edge. You got a full half of football ahead of you, but you want to play the situation here. And they have been phenomenal here. They call it the middle 8, the final 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the second half, and Indiana has absolutely thrived in this area this season, and it starts with stopping the run again.
6 tackles for loss tonight. We talked to Brian Haynes, defensive coordinator, about this part of their game during the week. He said, if we go a series without a tackle for loss, that guy's on the headset asking me, what are we doing? Why aren't we hitting somebody in the backfield?
Yeah, well, that hasn't really been the story tonight. I mean, they got 7 tackles for loss in all season. That's really been the story. It was Stephen Daly to kick off the party tonight. You saw Purdue adjust to that. And it's been Kamara, it's been the interior guys, Fisher. I mean, it's a reason why they're a legitimate threat to win the whole thing.
2nd down 11. They only bring 4 out of the backfield. Hoosiers swarm to it. Aiden Fisher was there right away. And then the timeout used. 1:08 left. Indiana thinking about that next series.
Indiana, their 3rd and final charge timeout.
So often talk about the middle 8, and look at Indiana, 92 points, and they don't allow much, only allowed 33, but a huge part is calling timeouts when you study this team within the last 4 minutes of the first half and knowing the situation. We had a great conversation with Coach Cignetti about situational football, about how he navigates the end of half and end of game, and look, he's been around for a long time. There is a formula to winning games and pulling away, and if you can get 2 scores before the half and get the ball back, all of a sudden, as he often likes to say, you can take the will of your opponent.
It's a huge reason why they won in Iowa City. I mean, people think about the end of that game, but the end of the half, I think it was inside a minute. They were kind of up against it. Couple of big plays, kicked a field goal. It turned out to be huge.
Same thing in Eugene. Remember the big field goal before the half? I mean, he's masterful at that. Situational football, you look at the margin for error among the elite teams in the country. It's not much, and it's often decided then.
3rd and 5, run it, and they will get that first. Interior Boiler offensive line opened up a hole to get 9.
Okay, so now on the other side, you got 2 timeouts if you're Purdue. Ran the ball well there. They're going to go hurry up. No more huddling. They go to a very select menu of plays here for Ryan Brown.
Brown, well protected, resets. Short completion up to the 47. Actually ends up getting 8 yards. That's Harris. Clock ticking. Will tick.
Timeout. Purdue, their 2nd of the half. 30-second timeout.
Take a look at the Discover upcoming schedule. You got the Bayou Classic. I've been a part of that many times. Always a fun weekend down there in New Orleans. Big Ten College Countdown will begin. 7 o'clock Eastern, back out on the West Coast. Rivalry I know you're quite familiar with, Yogi. UCLA, USC, 7:30 on NBC and Peacock.
That's a huge game in LA because everybody's wondering how will the Trojans respond after losing to Oregon and being out of the college football playoff. And then Nico Iamaleava, we had their game last week. He had neck spasms after a tough hit in that ball game against Washington. As of now, earlier today, we were told there's a chance that he plays in that ball game. For UCLA to get an upset, he needs to play in that ball game.
UCLA could really use a feel-good finish here after what they put out last week against Washington. 2nd and 2, they've got one timeout left. Brown still looking, fires across the field. Oh! Jesse Watson had his hands on it.
Couldn't tell from up here if there was a fingertip on that or not from, looked like Elijah Hardy. The entire time thinking Brown's going to go to his right, throws back across his body. Yeah, that's hard. Let's see if he gets a fingertip. Yeah, I think he did.
Good call. Makes it so hard for a receiver.
Yeah, those are nearly impossible. Right now, you want to get a first down here, so quick completion. See if you can get a first down, then you go. And I love working the middle of the field, the seams here in the 2-minute offense.
If they run, it's Antonio Harris behind him. Here is Harris. Little late fight. I think he's just short. Aiden Fisher, the linebacker, got him.
Yeah, it looked like both officials on either side of the field gave it a little bit of a different spot. It's going to be, I think that knee might have hit first, even though the ball seemed to be across the marker.
They can just let this clock tick here. Brian Haynes, defensive coordinator.
I'm surprised here they're doing this.
He's going to let it go down.
Yeah, I would have thought potentially they're going to use a timeout here.
Timeout. Purdue, their 3rd and final charge timeout.
Take a look at the clinching scenarios here for the Big Ten. So there's a lot going on here, Yogi. Bottom line, if Indiana wins tonight, if Ohio State wins tomorrow, now that's been awfully difficult to do recently against Michigan, but if the Buckeyes win and the Hoosiers win, that's your matchup in Indy next week.
Yeah, and that's the matchup I think the nation is anticipating. Imagine 1 versus 2 in the Big Ten championship game. 1 versus 2 is often in the national championship game, and then we got the Ducks, to your point. If they get a win, they'll know. They'll know already by the time they kick off what's going on in the game with Michigan and Ohio State.
That chaos, that a lot of different things could happen if either one of these two teams get upset, 1 or 2. And check that out. Over 200 yards rushing. Check in.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hold. There you go. Coming back.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 31. 10-yard penalty. First down, Indiana.
Here's Zora Stevenson.
Well, Paul, the challenge right now for Purdue is stopping Indiana's run game. You mentioned it, the 209 yards on the ground in that first half. Head coach Barry Odom told me, hey, they were getting us inside, they were getting us outside. The positive were the deflections that the defense on Purdue's side had to start this game. I said, how do you recreate that chaos? He said, well, Indiana answered us, now we have to answer again. He said, expect us to fight for 2 quarters.
Yeah, Zora, thank you. It was only 7-3 after that first quarter, and that's when the offensive line and the talented running backs really took over in that second quarter. And why not come right back to it? This time, Barry Odom's group is ready for it. So a good start for the run defense here for the Boilers.
Yeah, 185 rushing yards in just the second quarter for Indiana. This offensive line, Carter Smith and company got after it. Mike Shear, the defensive coordinator for Purdue, I'm sure he said, okay, we are going to stop the run. That is our goal number 1 here in the third quarter. So does it open up things in the pass game? Fernando Mendoza has not done much in the first half of this game through the air.
But already with more rushing yards in the first half than they had combined in either one of the previous 2 games. 2 plays, 2 runs, both times Purdue's ready. Safety Taj Rael makes it 3rd and long.
Okay, so let's recycle what we talked about in the first half. 3rd down for that man, Mike Shear. He's going to give Fernando Mendoza 1 look, and then he's going to change it right at the snap. So for Indiana, do you go on 2? Do you try to force Purdue to show their defensive look? when you change up your cadence.
Mike Shear just saw him, 31-year-old defensive coordinator, played linebacker for Barry Odom at Missouri. Now has a big 3rd down and 10 he's in charge of. Mendoza, quick flip, work to do. An alley and a 1st down. Omar Cooper, his first catch, gets him 16.
Indiana, like many teams, their cadence is a clap. You'll watch Fernando Mendoza. He fakes a clap, trying to get the defense to jump a little bit. He fakes it first, then he gets the clap, and then he anticipates where the movement is. The ball is out quickly. Really nice adjustment from Mike Shanahan, their offensive coordinator, saying, I know it's going to be aggressive, but our football is going to get out of the quarterback's hand. We're going to make you pay if you want to bring pressure.
We showed you coming out of halftime there, Mendoza under 50%. Sometimes that's what it takes right there, a little layup and some help from your wide receiver to get you going. Back to the ground game. Good hole there on 1st down for Himby. Rael, another tackle, gain of 7.
Yeah, the perimeter pass game is really a weapon for every team in college football. For Indiana, didn't have a lot going there in the first half. They come out, they get that big completion to your point, just getting the ball out immediately, and then it opens up the run game, because now if I'm on the defensive line or a linebacker, I am now even more aware of the possibility of you just playing pitch and catch to your receivers on the outside.
Just saw Mike Shanahan, offensive coordinator for the Hoosiers, 5th consecutive year as the offensive coordinator for Coach Cignetti. Was with him at JMU also. Now they bring the blitz. In trouble. Down he goes. Pressure got to Mendoza. Loss of 8. Ishmael and Sanford Jr. there first.
Yeah, the linebackers are the ones that freed it up for Breon Ishmael off the edge.
Do have a penalty on that play.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense number 58, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Breon Ishmael.
And there it is. And that's so hard. And to me, that's the rule. You can't pull somebody from their nameplate down, but I don't know if he was pulling him. His hand might have just been there, because one of his teammates comes in and finishes off the sack.
New rule this year, you cannot horse collar tackle there within that box. Big call there going against the Boilermakers. They'd come up with a big play. Up the middle, more room for Himby. Picks up 9.
This offensive line, they're just getting to the next level, right? If you can't win with speed at linebacker, you're going to get beat by this offensive front. Watch them just climb to the next level. This is a Johnny, the left guard, just keeps working, and all of a sudden, you've got a big gain. Zen Michalski also getting in the mix at right tackle.
5th year as a college running back here. 4 at Maryland, 1 at Indiana. He's never played at Purdue. He's enjoying his first trip here to West Lafayette. Now has a $146. Adding to that total. Another 1st down, and Indiana predictably leaning on the ground game in this 3rd quarter.
We talked about it in the first half. The last 2 games prior to this, Indiana was averaging 2.8 yards per carry. They're averaging right around 10 per carry right now, and they have the explosive runs, but it's really just lean in on this defensive front, getting movement by these offensive linemen, getting the linebacker level, and Hemby and company have done the rest.
Himby takes a rest, and you got to bring in a guy who's only averaging 6 yards a carry. They had a sweet spin move for a touchdown in the 1st quarter as well. There he is, Kaylon Black. Breaks the tackle. Couldn't get out of that one. Taj Rael, man, calling his name all the time from his safety spot.
Well, I think what Coach Odom told Zorro was spot on. His team's going to compete. They're going to fight. They haven't laid down all season long. It's been tough sledding in the Big Ten Conference, but you talk to opposing coaches, they all say the same thing about that man, Barry Odom. He's going to turn it around. Even Curt Cignetti talked about how hard this team at Purdue has played all season.
I think he said it a couple of times when we talked to him. He said, it feels like they look better from our position right away. He said, they compete harder than last year's team. Black accelerates. Boy, does he hit that hole hard. Correa makes the stop, but that's another gain of 5.
I mean, isn't that this whole team, though? I mean, everything is full speed. It's a nice job just picking up the pressure, the offensive line, anticipating the blitz coming, and just a beautiful job when they see a black jersey, just putting hands on them, and these backs, they only know one speed, and it's allowed them to have so many explosive plays in the run game this season.
Courtesy of this drive right here, Yogi, Indiana now with over 200 yards rushing more than Purdue has. Why not go back to it? A leap! Kind of an eventful gain of 4 there.
And the man in the middle again was Taj Rael, his 10th tackle of the game. It always looks sweet on TV, but it's a dangerous play because of how you fall and the way you can fall. Good to see him protect himself there when he got to the ground.
Okay, so Black comes out, and as Mike Shanahan, offensive coordinator, tells us, sometimes we need fresh legs in there. So they bring in the freshman Kobe Martin, first time he's been in tonight. Martin couldn't break that first tackle, close to a first down, gets 5. Taj Rael.
Take a look at this offensive line. They are all going to just go to the right, and everybody on the defensive line is going to follow them. Look at that crease right there for the young back. I mean, they're impressive at the line of scrimmage. They were impressive against Oregon, against Iowa. Last couple weeks been a little off, but they have picked up in the run game.
11th play of this drive. 1 pass, 9 runs, maybe another here on 3rd down and 1. Oh, pass, sling it out wide, and a wide open lane. Touchdown, Surratt. Needed that late cut to get there. Mendoza to Elijah Surratt, and it's now 34-3.
This man right here, Riley Nowakowski, I think he is the key to this offense really going. He does the rest for a touchdown. The quarterback and coordinator, Paul, they're just connected.
And that coordinator is Mike Shanahan. Takes me back to a conversation we had with him during the week. He said, I want to be balanced, but I can't be predictable on Friday night. And 3rd down and 1, you're running well. That was not predictable. Purdue will start on the 27-yard line. That was Michael Jackson. And by the way, Elijah Surratt now the active leader, career receiving touchdowns. That was his 40th. And what a career he has had, from St. Francis of PA to JMU, now to his 2nd season at IU.
That's amazing. And just how this staff continues to grow and evolve with all these players, some of them new, right? You saw a shot of Chandler Whitmer, the quarterback's coach, his first year on the staff. Replaced Tino Sinceri. He's done a heck of a job with Fernando Mendoza. Both of them have complemented one another on his just overall development in his game.
Last 28 points here scored by the Hoosiers. Ryan Brown pumping, dumps it over the middle. Did not get the catch and run to Antonio Harris. Gain of only 4. Let's go back to the studio for a Wayfair game break.
All right, thank you, Paul. Duel in the desert, Arizona against Arizona State. Must win to keep their hopes of a Big 12 title game alive. Jeff Sims, 27 yards to the house. They got the early touchdown lead. Paul?
Oh, man, thank you. I remember calling Nebraska games when Jeff Sims was a quarterback there.
I remember Jeff Sims in high school when he was on his way to Georgia Tech at the Elite 11. Right. I mean, what a journey for him to hang with it and have the success he's had. It is just inspiring on a bunch of levels.
Oh, Brown kept that one. Nice fake, slings it. Good catch, a sliding effort there out there at the 43. Nitro Tuggle gets 12.
Yeah, this is his unique trait. We've seen it from the first drive with Ryan Brown. His ability to just get outside the pocket, anticipate a rush. His eyes are always downfield. He's got a headiness to him, and they finally convert on one of these with a touch pass.
Ryan Brown's had some steps here with his old Oaken bucket arc here. He goes, guys, when I first came here, I didn't know about the rivalry. First game he saw, he said it was the most intense game I've ever seen. Played a little bit last year, and now this is his first full chance here against Indiana. Good pocket for him. Sets up. Boy, he just missed that time. Had Tuggle again.
And I think it's so hard when you're trying to make those, I call them third reaction throws. So first reaction, 1, 2, 3, you take your drop. Second reaction is you move once. Third reaction, you move twice. And there's just so many defensive backs flying to the ball. And I think that he was assuming his receiver, Nitro Tuggle, might cut back or slow down because he could see the DBs flying into his eyesight.
Second down 10. Not much going up the middle there. Gain of 1 to bring up another difficult spot here.
You know, I think when you look at the story of this game, especially the first half, there's missed opportunities, right? This is the first drive of the ball game. Opportunity for an interception. Again, a couple drives later, dropped interception. There's 3 from the first half. Ball tipped a little bit. Chance for an explosive play. Just don't make the touch throw. Some drop passes, some miscommunication. And that has been Purdue's story all season. They've competed in every game. They've had moments, whether it was Illinois, Michigan. Other than Washington 2 weeks ago, they've been in a lot of their games. They just haven't been able to play for the entirety of the 60 minutes necessary.
Whistles. Timeout called by Purdue.
Timeout, Purdue, their first of the half.
5:16 left in the third quarter. Their first ever 3A state football title. All that action taking place down the road at Lucas Oil, where the Big Ten championship will happen next weekend. Indiana tried to punch their ticket there. Blitz got home. Brown escapes. Penalty marker is down as he releases. And that's complete. Jesse Watson brought that in. We'll have to check in on the penalty.
I think that might be a hold coming back.
Holding. Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Bakeen Coley.
This is a part of just the aggressive nature. You're going to see a blitz coming right here from number 12, Devin Boykin, and he is going to be the reason why a hold happens from Coley on the offensive line. He feels Boykin coming in, and then he's trying to hold on to Mikhail Kamara. An easy call for the officials, but again, it's not always the individual blitzing. It's what that does to the psyche of those blocking. You feel another jersey coming. You feel defensive lineman leaning and running, and sometimes you just can't stay steady and keep your hands inside.
In this third quarter, they've had a sack negated because of penalty, and that big 39-yard gain went away also. Brown looking, keeps it. Didn't even get close. Ball came out. Indiana has it. Devin Boykin, the safety, comes up with it. They've already got 7 tackles for loss. They add a turnover. Ball ripped out by Stephen Daly and recovered by Devin Boykin. Indiana looking good and up 35-3.
Turns off, and Devin Boykin, who 2 snaps earlier was the one who blitzed in between the tackle and the guard. I mean, they're just always around the ball. The effort is fanatical by this defense.
Old Oaken Bucket lives inside there, and Indiana came in #1 turnover margin in the nation. They've added 2 to that. They're plus 17 for the season. Kobe Martin met right when he got to the line of scrimmage. C.J. Nunnally making the stop. He actually lost a yard right there.
C.J. Nunnally, another guy coming from the MAC to the Big Ten, much like we referenced earlier with Stephen. It's nice when you talk to these players and they talk about achieving a dream. They wanted to play in the Big Ten, and now here they are in a big rivalry game.
Top 2 runners getting a rest right now. Hemby and Black easily over 200 combined. Blitz floats one. Omar Cooper got it. And still rolling. Omar Cooper somehow to the house. Keep that one on the reel. 43-yard touch.
Well, I don't know if anything will top Penn State and that catch, but how about the release first and the route? That's big time. That is Biletnikoff semifinals. And then this is culture. This is exactly what Curt Cignetti talks about since the moment he became the head coach. And then how about the pressure coming on the inside? Fernando Mendoza saying, I got it, no problem. My throw will beat your blitz. My throw will beat your coverage. And my wideout, he'll just do the rest. Picks up a little block from Charlie Becker. 6-7, and they look now in that series like a team that
Coast to Coast Tuesday. Knicks Celtics. Just feels good to say Knicks Celtics. See that one on Tuesday. Michael Jackson from his own goal line. Makes it out to the 20. Indiana defense, lots of playmakers. Yogi, perhaps none better than Stephen Daly.
Yeah, he's been a monster. He's a first team. He should be a first team all Big Ten player and even an All-American. This is the first drive of the game, just chasing the tackle down, making a play. Have a look at his hands. Thinking he's inside. No, I'm going to go outside. So explosive. 4-point stance, both hands in the ground. Beats a double team to make a play. And then the punch out, the forced fumble. He's been doing it all season. He's the most physically gifted player on this defensive front, and I think we've seen a healthy Mikhail Kamara on the other side. Like, look out. This is why they're a legit contender.
Daly, 16.5 tackles for loss now. That's most in the Big Ten. Left side, nothing there. Give him a gain of a couple. That was Harris. And talking to Barry Odom, head coach for Purdue, and first part of the conversation, Yogi, he's just kind of going from 10,000 feet about Indiana. Got to the defense, and he said that's the hardest working group, hardest playing group I've seen this entire season, talking about the Hoosier D.
Yeah, and that is echoed by every staff we've talked to all season. I mean, that's why I believe it. They are the most disruptive. You could say Ohio State's been the most dominant. I would agree with that. But the amount of chaos and havoc plays they have, where they're all in sync, it just jumps out to you. There's another one.
Brown in trouble. Boy, that was a heck of a catch going down low to get that one. A nice job by Brown, too, keeping it alive to get 18.
Paul, think about all the things you have to do to get this done. There's Aiden Fisher. You'll see him in the linebacker position, but so much chaos up front. Look at the quarterback's got to step up, climb, and then you got to make this perfect throw within inches of being intercepted. Not many teams can do that all game. Right. Ohio State, you name the team. It's so hard to do because of what they do with their defensive line.
Luca Puccinelli, the tight end, with his first catch tonight. Brown gives off, and they get a couple of yards. That's Harris one more time, picks up a couple.
Yeah, we talked about Stephen Daly, and he's jumped off the tape every time you turn it on. But how about the path for him? He came in the summer from Kent State. He wasn't there in spring practice. And talking to Coach Curt Cignetti, he said he recruited him at JMU, at James Madison. He remembered him, and then they watched his productivity, and they said, you know what, we think he can help. And I think that's a huge part of this Indiana's team's success. Everybody talked about just the JMU guys a year ago, but the new players they brought in this year, almost all of them are starting. So the evaluation of players in the portal is as good as you'll find in the country.
Malachi Singleton, only his second snap tonight. We expected to see him worked in quite a bit here this evening. Loss of 3, that's tackle for loss number 8. And Stephen Daly now has 4 of those.
He's so talented. Yeah, and I just think when you look at those new players, that they don't miss. They don't miss on the evaluation very often.
And thinking about the evaluation, I had a conversation with Curt Cignetti earlier this season. He reminded me, he said, I spent 17 years as a recruiting coordinator from Pitt to NC State to Alabama. And now that he's basically the GM of the program, they bring in so many transfers. He said, it's invaluable how much that evaluation experience has helped me here. Brown, we've seen this before, chased out. Lets it go toward the sideline, incomplete. E.J. Horton, the intended receiver, and that was close, but no cigar.
I'll tell you what is not close is what wins national championships. Look at these veterans, upperclassmen. Oh, Indiana, 19 upperclassmen starting tonight. We're talking about juniors and seniors, and most of them are redshirt juniors, redshirt seniors, 6th-year seniors. I just think when you look at the last 3 years of college football, and you can look even further in this graphic, that is what wins. They know how to, the business-like approach that is necessary to be successful. And I think that's why tonight, Paul, they didn't come out the gates looking like the #2 team in America, but they went to work, and that's because of that man and how he's evaluated and the players he's brought into his program.
And thinking about the grown-ups he has in there, #2 defensively and scoring defense. Only Ohio State is better. Mendoza out and Mendoza in. So Fernando takes his seat, and let's check in on his numbers. Modest by his standards, 8 out of 15. Did have a couple of touchdown passes in this second half. So in comes his brother, Alberto Mendoza, 6'2", 203, the redshirt freshman from, you guessed it, Miami, just like his brother. He's played sparingly this season. Whistles blow out here. But getting his first snaps here tonight, has played in 6 games so far.
This is a timeout for an injured player. By rule, Purdue is charged their first time out of the half.
It's also another new rule this year.
Second time out of the half.
When the ball is spotted.
Timeout Purdue. 30-second timeout.
It's to slow down the feigning of injuries, but this was not. We saw Taj Rael kind of limping off, but because the ball was spotted, they get charged the timeout.
So we get our first peek here at Alberto Mendoza. It made me smile during the week when we talked to his brother Fernando about that decision to leave Cal. And am I going to leave? He's like, okay, yes, I'm going to leave. Where am I going to go? He said, I want to go someplace where I can really be developed. He said, I looked in Bloomington and I saw my brother and how much he improved in just his first season there. He thought, if he can get that much better, what can they do with this experience I built up?
Well, he often talked about their conversations when it came to X's and O's. And here's Fernando, in his time at Cal, he had a different offensive coordinator every year. And talking to Alberto, the things he was saying, the way he looked at the game, said, I wanted to be a part of those conversations.
And he does just like his brother. Oh, he kept it himself. What a fake. And here he goes. There's a Mendoza running loose. Alberto, welcome to the game. And he helped up the fan. Picks up 56.
Well, how about that? For confidence, thinking, yeah, I'm probably just gonna hand it off. Nope, no problem. Thinking it's going that way, and he says, no, I'm gonna go out the back door. Nobody thinks he's doing that, including Zeke Williams, who came in for Rael, and down the sideline, Alberto goes, toe tapping a little bit, and look at that smile from his big bro.
That's as much as I've been got on a fake this year. Save it for our last game. Okay, gives it this time. Martin to the end zone. Two plays, another touchdown.
Yep. Fans checking some scores from other games because that one might have said, yeah, this one's over here. But what a series from Alberto Mendoza.
With the long sprint, then the handoff. That first fake was so good. By the time I double checked to make sure he gave it off to Kobe Martin, he was halfway to the house. Alberto started his night this way. Excellent fake, and then just a longer day here. They were celebrated, and none more so before the game than the heart and soul of this program. Devin Maccabee, the running back. So much success here running the rock. So much respect of his teammates. Lower body injury late last month cost him the rest of his senior season, but tears from him and a world of respect from this community to him.
Yeah, he went from walk-on to legend. I mean, I don't think there's any other way to say it. He's so inspiring. He had an opportunity, like every player does, when there's a coaching change to leave. And he said, no, I value the rebuild. I value this place. I value my degree in engineering. And this place values him in such a meaningful way.
That look at senior camp was brought to you, or senior day was brought to you by United Cam. Michael Jackson picks up 6, and it's heartbreaking that he hasn't played this last month. It was heartwarming to listen to the coaches talk about him.
Yeah, it really was. He's got such an impact on this team. You talk to his teammates, and they say, we're going to win this one for Mock. We compete in practice for a Mock, and he's got that type of impact on his teammates. And his goal for senior day was to be able to walk out because of the injury to his leg, and you saw him do just that.
Nice run there for a first. That's Geron Thomas. Time now for Big Shots, brought to you by Nissan. Look, a little more focused on Devin.
Yeah, well, look what he's done. Again, all-purpose yards, 7th. If he was healthy, he could have left here with even more records as he was going to continue to climb up the charts there. And again, I just go back to his commitment to this place. We're in an era where that word is thrown around a lot and not often actualized, but he's the definition of it. And if there was a silver lining for number 45, he played in 45 consecutive games prior to getting injured.
Brown just flings that one away. Let's go to the sideline and say hello to Zora.
Well, guys, just to add on to Maccabee's story, with him sidelined, running back Antonio Harris, a guy with a similar story, is now getting more reps. And Harris and Maccabee are both former walk-ons. You touched on it, but they also grew up in neighboring towns here in Indiana. And Harris was telling me to see Maccabee's growth and see how he did it gave him inspiration. I mean, Maccabee is just respected by so many. And if you didn't feel something as he walked out, tears in his eyes, I mean, that is what college sports is all about.
Yeah, Zora, you know it well. You were a successful basketball player at Elon College. Ryan Brown, that's another tackle for loss, make it 9. I think teammates are always happy when they see a hardworking teammate do well. It's a layer more when it's a former walk-on.
Yeah, and you know this as a quarterback. The locker room knows. Whatever locker you are in. I loved even the moment when Ryan Walters was named head coach here. First team meeting, he gave that man, Devin Maccabee, he said, you know, I'm going to pull rank and give you a scholarship. Because he earned it, and the place went crazy. Because he deserved it. He performed on the field. He performs in the classroom. And I just think in this era of walk-ons, you know, relatively going away in college football, look at that.
Maybe the best pass yet from Brown to Tuggle. Good timing and anticipation. Now they're inside of Hoosier territory.
This one's worth another look. Brown just playing from the pocket. He's going to trust his eyes. That's the window that he's going to eventually throw it into. On rhythm. Hasn't been able to do that much tonight.
Go right back to the air. Pumps. The timing was off on that one from the start.
But just to go back to Devin Maccabee, the walk-ons are going to get phased out here in what we know college football to be. And I hate that as a former walk-on because I think it brings an element to your team, an edge to your team. We've seen it at Nebraska. You saw it at Iowa. I saw it at Pitt. Of course, they've seen it here at Purdue with many players, as Zora just referenced. But the lasting impact is, to me, something that continues to drive this team. And I know it's the cradle of quarterbacks, but people are going to be talking about Devin Maccabee and the impact he's had here for quite some time.
Brown, late blitz, dumps it off. Big hit. On the 46. Geron Thomas, loss of 3. Now into double-digit tackles for loss for Coach Cignetti. That's 10. A little more than their average of 8.5.
Yeah, this is a Elijah Hardy who's really taken the next step. He had about 4 starts last year as a freshman. And when you get to sit next to Aiden Fisher every day in a meeting room, you're only going to get better and become the best version of yourself. What Aiden Fisher's done at Indiana, very similar to what Devin Maccabee has done here at Purdue.
Big freshman to sophomore jump for Hardy. Not a transfer. Just a recruit who's gotten a lot better here in his second year. Quick release. Going to be 4th down. Jesse Watson had that one go through his hands.
I know you've done it a few times tonight, but you just imagine playing quarterback against this defense. I mean, it's such chaos all the time. You think you're at the line of scrimmage, and these 5 are going to come, and it very rarely are those individuals one you imagine. So you have to max protect, you have to slide protect. I mean, you have to get the ball out of your hand, and then the secondary is coming.
And Coach Cignetti is not exactly one to take his foot off the gas.
What was his quote early in the game? We want to leave an exclamation point on this game tonight.
And Fernando Mendoza used the same term. They're doing so, leading by 46. And that's what's been working. Himby, stiff arm, and a race. Touchdown, Roman Himby. Okay, gives it this time. Martin to the end zone. Oh, it's a good thing I practiced my touchdown run calls earlier today. Indiana running the ball tonight, 300 plus. Plenty of touchdown runs. Kobe Martin just had the touchdown run. Not much off the right side.
Well, let's take a look at this run game. A look from above, brought to you by Walmart. And this offensive line, they just created holes. I mean, after that first quarter, this offensive unit has run for 305 yards after only 24 in the opening frame. They did a variety of ways, variety of schemes. With the bottom line, the physicality, the point of attack. Watch this. Little double team on the nose, blocked by the receivers, and it's just contagious. While everybody within this offensive unit had hands on defenders throughout the majority of this ball game, and eventually it was just too much, and they sprung for some long gains.
Mendoza's first pass, right on the money. Jonathan Brady sprints around the left side. Nice gain of 11, and getting it back to the offensive line. Just reading my notes about these guys, the starters. 25th consecutive start, 38th consecutive start, 37th consecutive start. Guys who have played a lot of football.
Yeah, and I think that's how you have to win. Think about what's coming next, right? A week from tomorrow, they're going to play for the first time ever in the Big Ten championship game in Lucas Oil Stadium in their home state. And that will feel, regardless of opponent, whether it's Oregon or Ohio State, it's going to feel like a national championship. And then you got to go on a run.
Kobe Martin, what spin move working for the Hoosiers tonight? That got him 6.
And the point of that is that when you look at the projected teams in the playoff, top to bottom, it's going to be a battle, and you've got to be physical at the line of scrimmage.
Boy, if, and I know this is a giant if, because Michigan has had their way with Ohio State recently, but if the Buckeyes are the ones to win that, 1-2 just down the road in Indianapolis next week, the top 2 defenses in the nation. The appears to be leading Heisman candidates in Julian Sain and Fernando Mendoza. Man, that would be a lot of fun.
I mean, it might be the greatest weekend in the history, and the greatest day in Indiana sports.
Flipped it out. Boy, and now they've got room to go. Another sprint for the end zone, won by the Hoosiers. Davion Chandler, welcome to the scoring party.
Well, you know, those older brothers extremely accurate. How about this throw from Alberto? Tony Grimes tries to make a play on the ball, misses, and the freshman Davion Chandler does the rest, showcases his speed for 6.
Mike Shanahan is the one closest to, he kind of smiled.
Yeah, he got a little smile. That's right.
Subtle. Niko Radicic has been busy tonight. Another extra point is up and through. Make it 6 consecutive scoring drives here for the Hoosiers.
Wow, Purdue. And I say that because on Wednesday of next week, it's signing day, Paul. That means that a new crop of players are going to come in. And Indiana, if you haven't heard, they're a hot commodity right now. A lot of quarterbacks having great success. Curtis Rourke, Fernando Mendoza, 2 transfers. I'm sure Alberto is saying, if my bro goes to the league, I can be QB1 right here.
You might be saying win.
Yeah.
Time now for a Wayfair game break. Here's Ahmed Fareed.
All right, Paul, Texas with no touchdowns in the first half. It is 20-16. Texas A&M just scoring. About 9 minutes to go.
Okay, so it's a 4-point game there. We've got a 53-point game here.
Yeah, more points here.
Exactly. With Fernando Mendoza, you see him there, number 15, taking a rest. 8 out of 15 tonight, a couple of touchdowns. It was mostly, almost entirely about the running game when they really put this one away. Ryan Brown finds Tuggle. That's been a good combination here, as the game has been out of hand, but they've connected a few times, this time for 20.
That's a nice job on the route from Tuggle. You'll see him in the slot as the play unfolds, staying as close to the hash as possible, attacking the ball when it's in the air. And that's the thing about this team. They're not going to lay down. They're going to keep competing. Barry Odom, it's been a bear. He knows that. He's been through rebuilds before. It's his 3rd time being a head coach. They have signing day on Wednesday as well.
Quick sling, catch, and a sprint. Another first down for the Boilers. Michael Jackson picks up the first. There was a penalty back on the 43-yard line. Would be a gain of 18.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense number 71, 15-yard penalty, Repeat first down.
Well, they've had some penalties negate a few big plays, and they've not had many of them, but the flags have gotten in the way.
The previous play is under review for potential targeting.
Yeah, and that's the right call.
As Marcus Easley.
Yeah, if you bring your hands with you, it's a different conversation, but that's an easy one for blindside, and then they'll take a look at the targeting.
Okay, Terry McCauley with us. Terry, so many times we've talked about potential targeting calls this season. You see big 71 there. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, Paul. First of all, he's defenseless because it's a blindside block. So forcible contact to the head and neck area. You got to have an indicator, and we do this time. He's leading with his head, and he does make forcible contact with the to the head and neck area. This should be confirmed as targeting by replay.
And he was hitting Andrew DePape there. And another look there. The head comes down to the helmet of DePape.
And this is a big call for a bunch of reasons. One is it's going to carry over to next season. Ooh. So the first half of their opening game, if this is a targeting call, Marquise Easley is not going to be available.
After review, the foul was targeting. 71 is disqualified.
And Mark Kluzinski, the referee, did not take long to look at that one, Yogi. We've seen them look over and over and over again at potential targeting plays, and he got right in and got right out.
Yeah, and it's just frustration. You know, this offensive line this week in practice, it's been all competition. Josh Henson, the offensive coordinator, has got a big offensive line background. In fact, only one of 3 coordinators in the Big Ten who has an offensive line coaching background.
So Marcus Easley is out. Ryan Brown still working in here, spinning away from trouble again. Keeps it himself this time, gets across the 30, picks up a couple. And we're talking about Barry Odom, and we've referenced the fact, Yogi, that he's been at UNLV, or he was at UNLV the last couple of years. Had a high level of success there. In one season, led them to their most wins they'd had in 40 years, took them to conference title games. So this is a guy who's used to winning. And this team, they haven't won a Big Ten game in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding. But reference signing day on Wednesday with high school athletes. They'll bring in another 50 players and a bunch through the transfer portal. And a big reason of that is because so many of the players they brought in this year, 82 new players, are one and done, meaning only 1 year of eligibility. But he's a winner. He's a proven winner. Where he came from the Gary Pinkel tree, who learned from Don James, the dog father up in Seattle at Washington. Time with Nick Saban, both of them learned from Don James. So he's got all the tools necessary within his coaching philosophy to turn this thing around.
And one of the things I really like about his resume is he was a head coach at Missouri. Didn't work. He had to go back to being assistant for a while and take those lessons or take the things that he learned there, think about them, get away from being a head coach. Then he went back to UNLV. So the time in between, nice sidestep there by Ryan Brown. And a big hit at the 37 to prevent that from being a completion. That'll bring up 4th down. And they'll punt it away.
But you're right on Coach Odom. I believe that head coaches, Curt Cignetti is a great example. You've got to have clarity around the things that matter most to you, be confident in it, and then be tremendously disciplined as you attack. Though you've seen that from Coach Sig since he showed up in Bloomington, really when he showed up at IUP. And it's carried with him the rest of his career, and same deal here for Coach Odom.
2 flags come out as the ball is rolling now inside the 15-yard line. Jonathan Brady backing away from it. Might have had too many men out there on the field.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. And oftentimes late in games, you're playing everybody. Special teams is often the most chaotic. Who's in, who's out, who's done for the day.
Illegal substitution. 12 men on the receiving team. That penalty is declined. First down, Indiana. Timeout.
Just providing the sideline with some coaching points. Elijah Surratt made it to the end zone. Martin finds the going tough, but a good spin and a second spin. Saves that one, gets him out to the 20-yard line. So Indiana started playing football back in 1887. They had 0 seasons of more than 10 wins. That man arrives in town. They now have 2 in a row, and they're about to have their first perfect regular season.
It's amazing. I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. You saw the feature with he and Nicole Auerbach in advance of our game, where they were talking about history. Will you make history? They already have, to your point, and now you just keep adding on to it. First time ever, again and again.
Made note that he told Nicole that during camp at some point he made a note to himself that this year could be special. But think about that. This is a guy that's never had a losing season. And he had a feeling in August that this one could be a level up from what he's used to.
You know, the thing that is so amazing is that I want to say he kind of makes it look a little easy because they've done it in such dominant fashion. I mean, they have rolled since he has showed up in Bloomington. Did it at IUP, did it at Elon, did it at JMU. And for all these other coaches that are showing up on campus, we're going to see so much turnover over the next 48 hours. It's not as easy as it looks, folks.
Most wins in this conference for a head coach in the first couple of seasons. Urban Meyer out front there, fielding Yost. Nice to throw in a fielding Yost picture there. And Cignetti right there with him. Mendoza trying to find the edge, and he's not going to get there.
Yeah, to your point, Paul, isn't it amazing what he decided to do? Within 24 hours, I'm staying.
Yeah.
I'm throwing down. I'm happy here. I asked him in pregame. I said, hey, still got that leather recliner, that old recliner? He goes, oh, yeah, we got some new furniture, but we still got the recliner. That ain't going anywhere for him to sit on tonight and enjoy this undefeated season.
Talked about Barry Odom's resume. Love what Curt Cignetti had to do. 27 years as an assistant. This didn't happen for him easily. He said he's making it look easy right now. He waited for a long time, nearly 3 decades as an assistant in college before he got his first spot.
How about when he bet on himself? He's 50 years old, coaching in Alabama, and he goes to his wife, hey, we're going to move back to Pennsylvania to IUP, a D2 school. I'm going to make way less than we're making now, but I got to bet on myself, and look where he sits today.
And Michael Jackson got close to that one, but just lets it roll down inside the 30. A lot of good moments for Indiana this season, of course. They're unbeaten. You got to pick out the defining moments. Let's go back to early in the season. They really sounded an alarm against then top 10 Illinois and said, we might be better than we were last year by winning by more than 50. Curt Cignetti said, we have to have a top 10 win on the road. They got it when they went to Eugene, came from behind late. It was impressive. And the moment that really defines this season the most, the catch in the back of the end zone, the grit they had to come back from behind in Happy Valley. Curt Cignetti said it might be the greatest 2-minute drive he has seen. And if you had to pick out 3, those are the ones that come to mind. Over the middle, they've made some money there, Michael Jackson. In a way, hollow yards, but at least Purdue picking up a little momentum here. They get 21.
It was really cool talking to Fernando Mendoza about those moments. And he said, you know, the first one was kind of a feather in our cap. Yeah. Saying, oh, we can do it. So then when you're backed up against Penn State with no timeouts, you're saying, hey, fellas, this is just what we do.
Right.
And away they went with another incredible comeback on the road. And I just think it's going to bode so well for this team's confidence. Remember when they went to South Bend in the first round of the playoff? And Coach Cignetti said it after the game. You know, maybe the stage, maybe the physicality, just a little too much. We got to get better. They went out and got a lot better at the lines of scrimmage. And you could argue at quarterback with the mobility of Fernando Mendoza. And they've just been through one. Last year they drilled everybody. They didn't have close moments on the road. They've done only that on the road. They showed up when they've had to, and that man has really set the stage.
And those 3 wins that we just highlighted there, how much they meant, and you talked about Fernando telling us those were feathers in our cap that we just built upon that. We see a second down play here. Ryan Brown still in trouble. And this has a chance there, but good tackling out there in the open field. But you can boil that down even more, what they did on the road. And Mike Shanahan said, here's what it did for Fernando Mendoza. His ability to put a bad play behind him in a big moment really came to life. Iowa, fourth quarter interception. Oregon threw a pick six. He didn't have a great second half at Penn State till he brought him back from behind. So that wonderful quality that some quarterbacks have where they can put some negative stuff behind them and go be great. He really developed that this year.
And I would argue today was an illustration of that. It's all about the Heisman. That's what we talked about in the open. And in the first half, he's not thrown for 200 yards. Didn't even get over 100 in the first half. And just kept running the offense.
Indiana's still blitzing here, up 53. So the big road moments for Fernando Mendoza late in the game finds Surratt. He found the end zone. They come from behind there in the fourth quarter to win. After the pick six at Oregon, really made it look easy. And then the moment, back foot, back of the end zone to Omar Cooper. It's exciting. I've seen it 100 times, but it's exciting every single time. And we've seen a lot of smiles from 15 on the bench today.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of stats that are impressive for Fernando Mendoza, but I'll say this as a Heisman voter. I love it. What do you do when it's clutch? Here's a fourth down, clutch opportunity.
And that's just enough to keep this drive alive for Purdue.
But the point is, in the fourth quarter, in those games, he averaged over 16 yards per attempt.
That's huge.
He is not playing it safe. Look at that, excuse me, per completion. Look at that. That is impressive. That is saying, I believe in myself. I'm going to put my feet in the ground. I'm going to let it rip. He doesn't hesitate. And I think when you look at his experience at Cal, but also his experiences of nobody really saying you're the guy other than himself, he's believed in himself, and now he's got one of the top teams in the country.
And that team is leading by 53. Who's here with us on this holiday week from our camera personnel right there. Hello right back to you. Everybody out there in the elements, to our audio team, the replay room, video team, our production team in the truck. Huge thank you to every single one of you to what you did here this week and also the fun you've made it here this entire season.
Yeah, it's a blast to show up on game day, and people have been here for so long, pouring into it, and you could feel the infectious energy and the connectivity among them all. And that's the best part, the smiles on their faces.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Wave.
Nobody wants
waving.
football to end.
Come on. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Don't want to be the one that ends the streak of waves, but yeah, so many people a part of this, and you tune on and see the game, but a lot of these people have been here since early in the morning and since yesterday as well. And it's freezing here. Brown outside the pocket. And if one sentence sums up Purdue's offensive effort tonight, it is Brown outside the pocket looking for somebody.
Yeah, and Curt Cignetti's going to hope that's potentially Julian Sand outside the pocket or whoever that next.
That was almost a smile. Almost a smile.
He's got to give Zora one at the end of the game. I mean, 100%, Coach. You continue to do things that no one in the history has ever done before.
So looking ahead to now what awaits them, we'll see who's on the other side in the Big Ten championship game. 3rd down and 3 right here. But we know the Hoosiers will be there in Indy, first time ever in the Big Ten title game. Brown down the middle, tipped, and falls incomplete. If it is Ohio State, the Buckeyes need to knock off Michigan to make it there to punch their side of the ticket. How about this? Top 2 Heisman candidates, Mendoza against Sand. That those are bonkers numbers for each guy.
They're both so talented. Julian Sand, just such an elite passer. He's got a different way about him, coming out of San Diego, finds his way to Columbus, wins the job, and look what he's done with that offense. And Fernando Mendoza, the growth here is obvious within his own game, and I think they are truly the top 2 teams in the nation as well, and maybe they'll play each other a few times.
4th down, and that's incomplete. Turnover on downs, and that quarterback comparison was brought to you by Genesis Motor America. He wanted Nitro Tuggle. And that'll be the last time we see Purdue on offense, and Curt Cignetti now knows it, first time ever in Hoosier football history, an unbeaten regular season and a spot in the Big Ten title game.
Just amazing for this entire university and their fan base. Think about a week from tomorrow, they're going to have Louisville, Indiana basketball, then afterwards Indiana somebody for the Big Ten championship game, an hour away from Bloomington in your home state. I mean, Hoosiers was a great movie. This is real life.
Take a look at the scenarios of who they may play. You want to make one enthusiastic fan base really upset and say who you think is going to win between Ohio State and Michigan?
I think Ohio State's playing this season with just a different type of levity. It doesn't feel as though the whole world is on their back like it did a year ago. So I think the Buckeyes get it done. Okay, so it's clean if they do. It's Ohio State. It's Indiana. If they lose and Michigan wins, you see the scenarios that could play out. It would make Saturday a lot more interesting for the college football fan. Not talking about if you love Michigan or love Ohio State, but if you just like a little chaos in the middle of the day, you would certainly have a little there. Well, chaos is the sport's middle name here in college football.
And we'll see one more run up the middle. Might thought about breaking it out there for a moment. Kobe Martin, and the final seconds tick off. Old Oaken Bucket will remain in Bloomington, and the Hoosiers are on their way to Indianapolis. Fitting that Aiden Fisher is the one carrying it off. The guy on defense there, the linebacker. Zora with Kurt Signetti.
Coach, a perfect regular season. You all now head to the Big Ten Championship for the first time in Indiana football history. How did this team put it together week after week?
They've just been consistent.